Hey there, Seminole baseball fans, and welcome back to this week's edition of K-Time. I'm Scott Kotick inside here at Hauser Stadium. It's hard to believe only 2 ACC weekend series left in the regular season. I know it seems like, well, where did the time go? It seemed like we just started off the season in mid-February against Hofstra. Well, now we're in the middle part of May. The postseason form is really starting to take shape, but the big thing standing in the way is the Clemson Tigers this weekend. That's a tough place to play for the Noles. They're only 2 games away from clinching the ACC Atlantic Division, but in their way, 2 very good teams in Clemson and NC State. Arguably, probably 2 of the best teams Florida State is going to see all year. We'll get right to your top 3 storylines. The first is Clemson third baseman Richie Schaefer. In my mind, he's really the James Ramsey of the Clemson Tiger team. Dude's hitting .351. He's got 9 homers, 41 RBI. He's got 47 walks on the season. That guy gets on base an awful lot, slugging .600 as well. You look at the similarities between him and Rammer, both very similar. They both lead their team. They're both captains of their team. The Seminoles need to look out for this guy. He's been an excellent player for Jack Leggett and the Clemson Tigers for 3 years. Most likely going to be a very high draft pick as well when the Major League Baseball draft comes up later this summer. Your second storyline is the environment at Doug Kingsmore Stadium. Seminole fans know this is probably the toughest place to play in the ACC, outside of here at Hauser Stadium, obviously on the road. You look at this place, the Seminoles really honestly haven't had a lot of success there over the past few times. In 08, they did sweep Clemson, but you go back to 2010, Seminoles just needed to win 1 game at Clemson. They ended up getting swept. 06, we got swept up at Clemson. A very tough place to play. In my mind, how do the guys like Brandon Leibrandt and Mike Compton respond? They're both freshmen, but this obviously is the toughest environment they will have pitched in thus far this season. We know Leibrandt and Compton have been kind of those cool, calm, collected customers all season, but when you get into an environment like this, how do they respond? In my mind, I think they're going to respond well, but we'll just have to wait to see on Saturday and Sunday when they pitch. And your third and final storyline is the number 2. And as I referenced in the beginning, Seminoles just need 2 wins in order to win the ACC Atlantic crown. That's a big thing. I know you look at postseason implications. Obviously, the Seminoles want to win every single ball game they play in. But you win these 2 games, the pressure for next weekend when you play NC State, it gets a little bit lessened. Obviously, you still want to beat those guys, but at the same time, you go up and win a big series at Clemson. It gives you a lot of momentum heading into the postseason. Keep in mind, the Seminoles are the only team in the nation to win all 12 weekend series. I know they would love it, and I would love it. The Seminoles made it an even 13 for 13. We'll see if that happens this weekend. Of course, if you haven't done so already, make sure you follow me on Twitter at Scott Kotick, or email me. I think it is right there, skotick@fsu.edu. I want to hear from you. It's a big time in baseball season as we head into the postseason. Things starting to become more clear. Where do the Seminoles get a national seed? Where do we end up in the ACC tournament? Those are questions that are going to be answered starting this weekend. So for K-Time, I'm Scott Kotick. We'll see you next weekend, Seminole baseball fans.